Namaskar, friends. Today we will see how our daily routine, our daily habits affect our health in a positive way or negative way. So, whatever we are doing every day, morning, evening, how it is going to affect, we will look at it today. Look at friends, the most important is your gut health. Gut health and then insulin sensitivity and D and B12 vitamin adequacy. These are the three key essential parameters, or four rather, two blood tests. They're minimum saying, okay, there are so many things to do, but we are trying to look at very, what is the minimal, what requires to be checked and seen. So the reasons for all the lifestyle disorders are lack of hydration. People don't drink 3 to 4 liters of water every day. Constipation, gas, bloating, poor appetite, and they are unable to pass the stools at least 2 times in a day. At least in the sense that 2 times going is good because people are eating breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks in between coffee, tea. There's so many times input is there. So output wastes of the body must go at least 2 times. Inflammatory foods, we are all bombarded with all these refined foods, packaged food, factory made foods and all that, and then stimulants, coffee, tea, all those things, in a long way will affect our body. Lack of nutritious food, we hardly take any nutritious food. Nutritious food is what? Uncooked food like sprouts, fruits, nuts, those things, seasonal fruits and all this nutritious food. Insulin resistance happens over the years. A person is eating breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then followed by some snacks and then coffee, tea in between. So from morning 6 o'clock to night 10 o'clock, number of times what they eat. Most important, friends, the quantity is not very important. The number of times what you eat. Before the previous food is not digested fully in the stomach, we are putting one more load of food in the stomach. So that causes, number one, your gut health will get affected. In the long run, it will create a insulin resistance, friends. Then lack of exercise, we all know it's very important that we must do that. Look at only human beings get their food on their tables without much of physical work. But look at any animal in the wild, it has to do its own, grab its food. For that, it walks and runs for many, many kilometers. Night sleep is very important, 7 hours sleep. Then poor mind management. How do we handle our mind? How do we handle stress? And then how do we interact with people, what sort of emotions we have, it is required to be managed. Chronic stress, anxiety, these things we should recognize. And if you are already chronic stress and anxiety disorders are there, we must take corrective actions. These two tests are required to be checked, D vitamin level and B12, because they are very very deficiency of late with many people over a period of time. This cannot happen in a day or two, in a year or 2 years, right? It takes 5 to 10 years, in some places 15 years, because everybody has certain good habits which are supporting the body and some bad habits. So it's the resultant would be different. Each person, probably somebody at 30 years itself, he got into problems like obesity, fatty liver, diabetes, hypertension, etc. Somebody can come up to 50 years. So it's very difficult to find out how long it takes, but yes, it takes 5 to 10 years. Now, what happens when these things continuously happen? See, every day we are not taking the right quantity of water, and we're doing all sorts of this stuff. What happens? Look at these are the 12 parameters which are absolutely to be measured. So this way you can check your health score also. Out of that, there are seven blood test friends and five other parameters. We just look at fasting insulin. This should be ideal range is this. What will happen when we check this fasting insulin? We can detect early insulin resistance. Early insulin resistance means we can find out why people are getting gaining weight, not losing weight, various things related to that. Fasting sugar also would help you to know insulin resistance. This should be below 99. A1C is a 3 months average sugar. It should be below 5.6%. This will tell you about your diabetes or pre-diabetes. Lipid profile, triglyceride should be below 100, HDL should be above 60, VLDL should be below 20. They will give you a clear picture about your heart health. D vitamin B12, the range generally is 30 to 100 given, but try and get in this range is a good range, ideal range, healthy range. Similarly, B12 also 600 to 800, lab says 200 to 900 is okay. Try and come at 60-70% of your range. High sensitive C-reactive protein, this is basically to show about inflammation in the body. Friends, let me tell you, people who are overweight, people have certain other, infections and all, they will have high sensitive, reactive protein high. It should be below 1. So this is the insulin resistance. This is a calculation of fasting insulin multiplied by fasting sugar divided by 405. This should be below 1.5 means your insulin sensitive. It's above 1.5 means insulin resistance, friends. Above 1.5, whatever is the range, it creates all these problems certainly. So we need to see how we become insulin sensitive. Then height to weight ratio, we all know, friend, check your BMI, it should be between 19 to 24. Height to waist ratio, this should be half of the height in inches. Above, a lot of people, they don't have any other issues, but they have overweight and high, this height to weight ratio high, bigger waist size. Blood pressure should be 90 by 60 to 120 by 80. Should be always below 120 by 80. Above 120 by 80 is hypertension. What happens, friends? All these things will lead you to go for medication. If you're already taking medication, yeah, you are losing a point. We need to check out of 12, how many you are complying. Say, for example, your sugar is 120. Your fasting usually say 10 or 15. So that means these 2 points you don't get. So you need to find out where you stand. Now, what do we do, friends? What is the best way to do? See, you require 7 essentials for good health. What are the 7 essentials? Air, water, food, excretion. On the structural side, exercise, emotional rest, and mind management. It is something like it, friend. Chemical parameters, emotional parameters, structural parameters for the body. You need to balance all the three of them. Somebody says, no, 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 I will only diet. And it's necessary that they have to work on their emotional and exercise. Now, what we need to do, friends? Stop eating multiple times and taking coffee tea in a day. This is one thing very, very important to do. If there is a fire at some place, we generally try and drench it by water, friends. But before that, we need to see if there is any petrol is going into the fire. We must stop it. Otherwise, your effort of quenching the fire by putting water will not succeed. So first thing is you stop the inflammatory stuff. What is the inflammatory stuff? Avoiding the sugar, sweets, bakery items, junk food, ice creams, milk, stimulants like drug, alcohol, tobacco, cool drinks, coffee, tea. These things have to be stopped completely. If you're not able to stop, you do it occasionally in a minimum quantity. Now, the thing is, how do we start our day from morning to night? So, immediately after waking up, you drink 1 liter water and then go for the first bowl. Focus on your stomach. So, to only object is to go to the toilet. So, what happens once this water would help you to, pass the stools easily, and also it will help you hydration in the morning. This excellent technique we need to follow, friends. Somebody is not having any habit of drinking water, so start practicing. Maybe start one half a liter, then improve it in the next 5, 6 days, and I think in a week's time you can come back to drinking 1 liter water, and you'll be able to go to the first bowel movement. This will make you very comfortable and you can see the results within a week, friend. Then after that, go for a brisk walking for about 45 minutes to 1 hour. Come back home, rest for 5, 10 minutes. Again, drink 1 liter water. And then focus on your stomach. You will be able to go to the second toilet. So if you're able to do the excretion 2 times in the morning, that means at your command, right, friend? So this would enhance your health substantially. Don't drink water 20 minutes before eating food, while eating, and until 2 hours after eating food. Make a practice. If you're getting stuck while eating food, you're feeling discomfort, just take a gulp of water. Try and follow this rule. Eat only twice when hungry and maintain the same timings. Here is a simple technique, friend. See what we are doing by morning to evening, taking multiple times like morning coffee, breakfast, then some snacks or coffee, tea, lunch, and then again snacks or some coffee, tea, the dinner, and night again some food. So you are giving 6 to 7 times food to your stomach. So before one food is completely digested and exited from the stomach, you are putting some other food. What would happen? Some cooked, I mean, digested, half digested food and undigested food together, they cause mostly gas problem and then the indigestion, things like it. And also that would every time 7, 6, 7 times you're eating, 6 to 7 times there is a sugar absorption in the body, and insulin also is coming, and then over the period this would affect the insulin resistance. You create the insulin resistance. Now, nothing in between 2 meals except water. Other than water, anything else one puts in the mouth is food, friend. Very essential to know. Don't eat casually. If somebody offers something in between meals, don't take it. This would give you a great advantage. Now, between two meals, you try and drink 1 to 2 liters of water between two meals in the day. What you can do in installments. Suppose you finish your first meal, say 1 o'clock. From 3 o'clock, you take 200 ml water, and then now 3:30, 4 o'clock, one glass, something like it. Try and finish 2 liters so that you have finished 4 liters of water in the day. 7 hours sleep between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. is very important, friend. Try if people are working late night, try and find ways and means to sleep in the night. Managing anxiety, stress, you can do some yoga, pranayama, meditation, things like it. Join some programs; they will help you in terms of managing your anxiety and stress, friends. Fasting once in a fortnight with honey and lemon water is very, very useful for especially people with overweight. Right. And we have just discussed about this seven blood tests and other parameters we have already discussed. Suppose for somebody wants a good health, one time you take cooked food, another time you take natural food, friends. When we talked about deficiencies, if you take one time uncooked food like the sprouts, soaked nuts, and seasonal fruits, fresh coconut, dates, and fruits, and all that, they will supply all the nutrients required for the body. So there won't be any deficiency. Okay, this is an optional. If somebody is very keen, see somebody is not even past 10th standard, we can't put him into degree. Similarly, if somebody is eating 5 to 6 times, first step is cut down the number of times, come to 2 times eating. Eat what are cooked food, homemade food, avoiding all those inflammatory food. That itself will give you a great leap in your health. Then if you're keen to better health, try this uncooked food second time, friends. And also if you're able to do the 16 hours fasting, what does that mean? You are having previous night second meal say around 7 o'clock. So try and maintain 16 to 15, 16 hours fasting. The ideal way of eating food, friend, between 11 and 1 o'clock, and the second meal between 6 and 8 o'clock. Try and maintain this will substantially improve your health. And yeah, these are the few people who have benefited by following this daily schedule, friend. And my name is Gangeshwar Rao. I'm not a doctor. So look at my parameters. In 2014, I was taking 11 medicines, and look at all these parameters. They're all out of sync. That means out of 12 parameters, which we discussed in the first slide, I'm okay on only two parameters. That means my health score is 16%. What is the outcome of the 16% health score? Look, I'm obese. I'm having 11 medicine for diabetes, hypertension, high triglycerides, kidney stone, and all that. Now, I just by following this approach in 4 months, look at in 2014 onwards, my parameters are by and large good. I'm almost at 83% of my health score. This is what I'm suggesting to measure your health score, friends. Look at the transformation what I have. So I'm not a doctor, friends. People with health issues must consult their doctor before embarking on my advice. I'm sharing this knowledge last 8 years. I do a lot of research and help people. And this is my mobile number. Anybody wants any support, they can send me a WhatsApp message, call me up. Thank you very much for listening, friends. Invest time and knowledge and discipline are the gateways to health. You can watch other videos in my YouTube channel so that you can enhance your knowledge. Thank you very much for listening.